what Priya does at work. And when she's not working, she's busy teaching French. She loves doing decoupage. It's an ancient European art. Maybe she'll tell us a little bit about that as well. And Priya is one of the few women from not just Bangalore, I would say, in the country, who have crossed both the Arctic and the Antarctic circles. She has visited both Antarctica and as well as sailed in the Arctic Ocean. And we hope to have her talk about that at a future date. But today she'll be talking about the Naturalist School and her work with the Naturalist School, which is it's a specialized institution for skilling and empowering youth in livelihood through green jobs. The school also works to nurture citizen naturalists. And within the short span, it's been around just for a year and has already worked across 12 states and just recently the first batch of certified naturalists graduated, and they've already had two batches of certified nature guides who've graduated from the naturalist school. So over to you, Priya. Tell us more about the wonderful work that you do.
Okay, so let me formally thank you, Uma. And since we are all friends here, I'm going to keep this as informal and as interactive as we can. So like we say in a live chat, can all those backbenchers and people who are sitting in the end please come and occupy the seats in front? So I'm going to make that invitation and request everybody to come on and show us what you got. Let's see each other before
Yes,
we will.
people, please switch on your videos. That would be good. Because
Thank you. Hi Rakshita. Hi Mamla. Suma, good to see you.
Hey, great to get get to listen to you here.
Srivalli.
Lovely, welcome.
So happy to see familiar faces. Hi Srivali. Shivanand, good to see you. Almost seeing you. There, we see you now. And we have 6 others who are slowly coming on board. We will wait for the class to be filled, for the room to.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Girish, nice to see you. Give me just 1 second. Yeah, for some of you who have difficulty, like really any technical problems getting on video, I don't want to push you because I know that at least one of you does have a challenge, so that's fine. By the way, firstly, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And after that embarrassing introduction that yeah, no problem, Nilima, that Uma gave, I don't really have anything more to say because Uma's covered anything and everything that I would have wanted to share. But nevertheless, since there are a set of visuals, I will walk you through this. So if you find it repetitive at any point in time, please feel free to log off, and we are completely okay with that. And if you have questions, come right in. Do not wait for the right time. Every time is the right time. So um, without any further ado, like they say, let me share my screen with you. And here we go. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes,
Yes, it's loading.
yes, you can. Okay, so while the talk is titled "Are you a naturalist?" I am going to, like they say in Hindi, khao some footage and talk to you about my journey of coming to, or realizing myself and my space in the natural world, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Where can everybody hear me? It's all right. Yeah. Okay. Great. So please feel free, like I said, to interrupt. Just raise your hand, and Uma, in case I'm not seeing, just flag it for me. Yeah.
I will. No
So,
problem.
hmm, um, my journey really, started in, where is this? Okay, here. Okay, this is where my life journey started. How many of you from this city, the maximum city? Okay, so hopefully there are some people raising their hands behind the cameras, and lovely to meet all of you. So I'm sure you will share a lot of my nostalgia here, and this is where I came to, right? That's where I am right now, and I'm going to share with you how this happened. And this story started here, and like Uma said, in the year 1998, when very, very, I would say, completely accidentally, uh, you know, I was reading the newspaper. I don't know how many of you do. I am not somebody who was very used to reading the newspaper in the early days. Not that I get around to doing it now, but that was such a beautiful accident, because in those days the newspaper used to have these small, ads of different events, like what we see now. Everything is digital, and I remember my sister and I were sitting at the table, and we saw that little column which said volunteer training program at Sanjay Gandhi National Park. Now, I live pretty much um, a stone's throw, about 15 minutes from the national park. And the only thing I knew about national park up till then was the picnics we used to go there, during school. And we would all go have fun, play around, eat our dabbas, and come back home. And here, this newspaper article said volunteer training program by WWF India. We had no clue that what that was, but we had 3 days holiday. I remember it was a long weekend, and we had to call a particular number and register. Unlike the Google forms we fill these days, like the one you filled probably to register for this one. So we called up the number and said, "Hey, can we join?" And there we were. 3 days of sheer bliss, 3 days of amazing engagement with fellow participants, with resource people, the education officers of WWF. Until then, I was just like anybody else living in Bombay, going to school, going to college. This was when I was in college, incidentally. Yeah, and I think till today, those 3 days and 2 nights are really the highlight, of my life so far. And that just started it for me. And as volunteers, we kept going back to the national park almost every other weekend. We used to be there. um, the the batch that we were with, we are still in touch with each other, and it's been really nice, also looking at everybody's journeys in this space. We would take groups on walks, we would take children on nature camps, we have done talks in schools, and we kept doing this for a very long time. And for some of you who have not been to Sanjay Gandhi National Park, uh, do take some time out, because while you may be traveling to so many other destinations, this is, I'm told, the only national park which is within city limits, in the around. And also, there are these caves, Buddhist caves, inside of the national park, Sanjay Gandhi National Park. And what you see right now on screen is one of the highest points, from where you see pretty much a lot of the city around you. Sanjay Gandhi National Park is about 108 square kilometers. I think it's come down to 104 in the last 20 odd years plus. This place was mesmerizing. I think all of you will probably have your own um, spaces that you probably interacted in, you've probably engaged with. uh, rains Rainy season was a completely different ball game in the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and we used to go on trails and actually pluck berries from the plants on the trail. And we and I see a lot of you here are probably in that space, been there, done that in the national park, and completely, there is no way you cannot fall in love when you have access to forests like this. And what happened next in my life was, as a volunteer of the WWF, um, I went, in fact, I remember one day I went to return the projector, which I had carried to a school for a slideshow. And the education officer then, Kedar Gore, Kedar is now, he heads Corbett Foundation. And he said, "Hey, are you free on whatever dates?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. But, how many slideshows do you want me to do? You're asking me for 10 days. And he said, "No, this is not the slideshow. We have a senior citizens group which we are sending from Bombay to Bandipur." And it was honestly not even a name I had heard those days. And I said, "Sure, I do have, I mean, I'm not doing anything, but how do we make this work? Because I haven't planned, because tickets were already booked." And one of our education officers had just put in her papers and she wasn't going to be there. And he said, "Look, all these citizens have signed up. We can't, it'll be really, disappointing if we cancel it. And can we do, some jugaad?" How many of you are familiar with jugaad? Yeah, you can use digital. Yeah, let's use it. Yeah, okay. So we did that, and I got onto the train, and voila, I was in Bangalore, and I was in Bandipur with, I think we had about 20 participants. And I was a volunteer with, of course. And the other thing was, it's not a forest that I am familiar with in those days. uh, my biggest question was, I don't know anything. How do you expect me to go with these people? And he said, "Don't worry, it's everything is taken care of by WWF, our counterparts in Bangalore, in Karnataka. You just have to make sure that this group is escorted and you manage the logistics." And that I was happy to do. So I think about a week in Bandipur. um, First day, first safari, that's when I learned what a safari was. And we went in this canter. How many of you have been on a safari? Half of us at least. Okay, right. And I'm sure the rest of you will go. So first day, first show, I get into this canter with everybody. I have no idea what to expect. And we go into the forest, and this is not the tiger we saw. But we did see a tiger which was sitting in the grass, and there was a cheetal very close by, and everybody got up, and some of them, I think, almost screamed. And then we had to ask them to be quiet. But for me, that's not so much in my mind. That thing was a blur. But what I do remember is that we saw the cheetal, we saw the tiger, and then the cheetal went away, maybe because we made sound, I don't know. And then we watched the tiger for some more time, and then we went away. We came back to the campsite, and there was this absolutely um, one, the celebration of the kind that you would probably be familiar with, when 20 people are in a canter. And at the age that they were all between, I think, 60 to, I think, 88. And there was so much joy and so much of celebration. And I was there, and I was sure, I mean, I was happy. For some reason, I didn't know what they were celebrating so much about, until I learned much later that it's not that you see a tiger on every safari. I thought if you go to the forest, you'd see a tiger. I mean, I was like, yeah, so what's the big deal? We went to the forest, right? And today I know what it means to so many of us. Um, and to the point of, I guess it's the other extreme, but we'll not go there. What stood out for me, like I said, this piece was a little blur, but what stood out for me was that I saw about, I think, close to 60 different butterflies. And these are butterflies I'd never seen in my life. And I think the number is a lot more, but I just want to be played safe here. I think it was 80 something, but definitely 60. And completely blew me, actually, more than anything. Until then, I had seen butterflies flying around, and I knew the yellow butterflies that we saw when we went to school, and maybe the big whitish butterfly. So we knew butterflies were yellow and white. I did not know that butterflies had names, and to me, it was it was like a lifetime of learning that happened on that 1 week camp that I was not even meant to be on. And, you know, just because I was there at the right place at the right time, and I just got to do this trip. So, very, very grateful to WWF for encouraging, newbies, I would say. After a 3-day volunteer training camp, they empowered us, gave us so much, um, I would say, confidence, to go ahead and do these talks, do the walks. And I landed in Bandipur with that. Right? Back home, yeah, back home, and came back to Bombay, was again part of conducting many nature camps, and with a very close friend, um, put together. Some of you might be familiar with this organization. It's called Sprouts, and today's Sprouts is, I think, over 25 years old, or I think we recently celebrated that. And this was a second inning of Sprouts. Sprouts was also had also been started when the founder, and my a very good friend of mine, Anand Pendharkar, when he was in college with a few other friends. And then it kind of uh, was quiet for a while, and then we renewed Sprouts, and today is doing great. And you should expect a few books as well, which are, I think, well under print from Sprouts. Sprouts actually also helped bring many citizens together. We did camps, special camps, thematic camps. We worked with all kinds of demographies. We made sure that everybody gets a chance to go out. We worked not in fancy resorts, but in farmhouses of people where they would invite us. We did many overnight camps with stargazing included, and it was like the whole deal, the whole package. We also, I remember, we took people out once to Dandeli, so we came back to Karnataka. Now, while all of this was happening, a few more things that I must share with you is, like I said, this was story from Bombay, me coming to Bangalore. But once I came to Bangalore, there was some more travel that I happened to do. And like Uma shared with you, I had the good fortune of traveling to the Antarctic Circle, where we saw all of these and much, much more. And also the Arctic Circle, right? And how many of you have seen penguins in real? Two, three, four, everybody. Okay. Oh, yeah. So then I don't need to tell you how cute these are, but let me show it for the benefit of some of you who might not have seen them in person. Yeah. And this particular one, oh, okay. This particular one was a young one which should have made it and flown away before the winter set in. This was March 2011, and usually they should have flown by then.
He's definitely trying to fly.
This one is one of those few who didn't make it, right? And is still learning to fly. So once winters set in, the ones that get left behind because they can't take the cold. Um, like I was part of Sprouts in Bombay. This is Bangalore now, and many of you would be familiar with EcoEdu. EcoEdu in Bangalore has been working in this space, again, doing talks, doing walks. We also conduct the bird day in Bangalore. Many of you, we have met there as well, and we continue to do a lot of good work. Um, Please do look us up. We also have come out with some field guides, which are interesting, pocket sized. Uh, I think the trees one, uh, I see many of you here probably have it. I'm seeing who's in this group here. Yeah, do take a look at it. Okay, before that, okay, so this was all fun and frolic and hobby, and passion. Yes, passion continues, but this was only passion, and it was more amateur. In these, this is about what I'm talking about now. I spoke to you about 1998 up to maybe 2018. This is where life brought me. And one more thing that I used to dabble around is a little bit of theater, like Uma shared with you. And my day job was really being a facilitator for experiential learning program for leadership teams. Now, how all of this is relevant and how all of this came together is because I used to visit eco lodges, different resorts, and came to realize that our naturalists who are currently working there needed some capacity building, because I was looking at it, from the learning space. So I started working with them, I think straight from 2004 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, and help them with little things, right from a little bit of spoken English to doing role plays, uh, communication, guest handling, and in the recent we have done a 3-day storytelling workshop for naturalists, practicing naturalists. Now all this was happening on and off, and I was also busy with my work. But somewhere around 2018, I started getting a lot of requests from various organizations, including WWF itself, saying, can you do a talk about a career as a naturalist for college students, MSc students who are doing maybe botany, zoo? And then I realized that honestly, this could be a career for anybody today. Maybe 40 years ago, this wasn't a career, it was a hobby. And for a lot of us here, it continues to be a hobby. But we are now in a time where it's a very, very, possible career option. Tourism, as you see, is growing up, is, the graph is really steep. Ecotourism, probably even steeper across the world and in India. And a career in nature interpretation was something which I felt was long overdue to be established in India. While other countries have done work around standardizing and bringing in the rigor required in nature interpretation, you'd all be familiar with. Of course, the big name is Africa that we all hear, but US, Australia, UK, to a small extent, have all recognized this as a career, had by then given it enough it had gone through a lot of evolutionary cycles, and they had very standardized courses for nature guides for naturalists. Somehow we seemed to have been busy doing many other things in our country. And just like adventure moved from just being a passion and a hobby to a career to many people today, as we know, and theater likewise, uh, somewhere I felt it was time that natural history and nature interpretation careers also took the forefront in our country, and come in as mainstream career options. The um, the fact that I may or may not be a science student really didn't matter, because by then I had interacted with so many stalwarts in this space who had nothing to do with science in their academic life. And so I, I I did what seemed to be the most logical step towards, I would say, bringing into mainstream nature interpretation in our country. I worked with Bangalore University, and we instituted a certificate course in wildlife and nature interpretation. But by the time we got around to instituting it, we were bang in the middle of COVID. While the course was launched officially by the Vice Chancellor in 2020, we haven't gotten around to implementing it. I think this year we should be able to implement it. In the meanwhile, of course, this, as you see, it is an academic path. In parallel, I also started working to to bring this career into the focus and get it recognized as a job role in our country. While we have a very, very efficient ministry of skill development and entrepreneurship, uh, you should look it up if you're not aware. I wasn't aware until I started my research. This is MSDE, and the MSDE is entirely a parallel ministry along with the Ministry of Education. um, so in both these ministries we managed to get some ground in. And the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, we were able to establish, uh, actually there are four recognized job roles, two of which are now in motion, like Uma shared earlier, the nature guide and the naturalist. And the others, there's one more, they are in sequence. So there is one below it and one more above it, which will happen maybe in the course of a few years. Now, the MSDE works through the National Skill Development Corporation, also called as the Skill India Mission. And the Skill India Mission works across the country through their state skill development missions. And each sector, be it the automobile sector, the medical sector, hospitality, all of them have separate skill councils. The first logo you see up there is the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council. So the career of a nature guide and that of a naturalist has been placed within the THSC, the Tourism and the Hospitality Skill Council, because the industry that really is going to employ, um, naturalists is the hospitality industry, the ecotourism industry. Yes. Okay. So I will go back one slide, or I will just wait here and yeah. So once we created the course, I got, yes, I'm like looking for words here and looking for pronouns, because it is so many people. It was you and me and we and they, and it was just a really, really collaborative effort by so many entities and individuals in making this happen. We had to look to create an organization which would then be able to execute the programs. I wouldn't say it was cakewalk, but it was definitely gratifying, very satisfying. We today have what is called as, I'm part of the Naturalist School, which is a foundation, which is a partner, training partner with Skill India to deliver these courses. We also work through Skill India training centers across the country. Currently, we have one in Karnataka and Maharashtra. And we have also worked, like Umar said, in different states in the country, not just through Skill India, but also community initiatives. Uh, in every project that you see here, we have worked with the forest department, with the local NGOs, in many cases with the ecotourism development boards in the states, respective states, and with community stakeholders. And we I think I should say that we really have a huge potential for this uh, in the space of ecotourism. While adventure has been playing a very important role in the last 10 years or so, where there is adventure and where ecotourism activities are going on currently in the outdoors, the forest department has stepped in to bring nature as part of the experience. And so, for example, in Bhitarkanika, and we, in fact, we just last week we finished a refresher of the training program in Bhitarkanika, which we had conducted last year in August. These were boatmen, only boatmen who would take people on a joyride in Bhitarkanika. And after the training, they have started accompanying, like, so there are two people in every boat. The boatman is there with a nature guide, and the nature guide, does the job of, for some of you who are wondering what this whole thing is about, just like you have tour guides for heritage archaeological sites, we have nature guides who can talk to us about nature. And nature is anywhere and everywhere, right from our tiger reserves to our backyards. And every small village in India has wilderness areas and has the potential to groom at least a few nature guides. And I'm told we have 6.5 lakh villages in India, and you can do your own math. um, in these places that we have worked in communities, they have started, the forest department has enabled the communities by, in some cases, enforcing the need to go with a nature guide, in some cases encouraging tourists to hire a nature guide, in some cases the local NGO has promoted um, walking, walks, nature trails, nature walks. And I think in the last year that Naturalist School has been actively involved in this space, we have seen so many more, um, smaller, I would say, initiatives that have all contacted us saying, can you do this for us as well? They may not be the forest department, but they are happy to work with us and also get in touch with the forest department. And the support has been amazing so far from everybody involved, from all the stakeholders. And what is more, as you will see on that slide, no, this slide does not talk about livelihood numbers. What is very interesting is, last month we called some of our nature guides in Kangar Valley National Park in Chhattisgarh. Maybe some of you have visited it. If not, please do. Uh, just to check in on them and see what they are doing and how they are doing. We had 25 people in our training program last year. And this boy told me, I asked him, kitne jan ab kaam kar rahe hain? He said, matlab? I said, नहीं, मतलब 25 जन थे, तो अभी कितने जन अभी तक मतलब कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं या काम कर रहे हैं? He's like, मैम, हम 25 जन जाते हैं रोज सवेरे, और लाइन लगती है और हमारा नंबर लगता है. And जैसे जैसे विजिटर्स की जीप आती है, they call it gypsy guides. They are called gypsy guides in Kangar Valley because the vehicles the tourists use there are the forest gypsies. तो नंबर लगती है और हम लाइन से एक के पीछे एक चले जाते हैं. तो 8,000 तक कमा लेते हैं महीने में. These are tribals who live in Kangar Valley National Park who did not have a job earlier. और मैम पता है क्या, नवंबर दिसंबर में जब सीजन था ना, तभी किसी ने भी 20,000 से कम नहीं कमाया. So that really, changed a lot for us internally and our team, because we suddenly realized the impact. We were just doing this because we wanted to promote nature, but the moment we realized that um, this is something that is changing lives of people, we have started taking a little more responsibility in ensuring that we stay, with the program after the course as well, and make sure that last mile connectivity of them getting employed happens. um, that has also put a lot of additional pressure on us, and we are seeing how we can make that happen. um, Another place we worked in last year was Kuno, and you all know Kuno is famous and or infamous, depending on where you're seeing it from. um, what I would like to tell you is the people we trained, they came from 7 different villages, about 70 people over 3 batches. And just to know that they are not working yet, they have not been employed for reasons that we know. We've decided that until the forest department is able to deploy them, uh, they forest department is also, uh, I guess everybody has their own challenges and also very good intentions. So they are very happy for these people to start nature walks and nature trails within, around Kuno. So as we speak, there are trails being mapped out, and Kuno will soon open up to visitors and school children, I think first, just for the walks, so that the nature guides have something coming in. Their learning doesn't go waste. And we are, I think, we'll be doing a refresher with them in September, and we will be opening it for walks. It will be slow and steady, but there is something for them coming in until the forest department is able to move on various other grounds. What do we really do? Yes, a lot of all of this now. So natural history is a subject. Actually, the whole reason I personally got invested in it, this is because I was talking to somebody very senior um, in one of the wildlife foundations, and I said, I think I'd written a small proposal where I had said we should teach natural history and other subjects. And this person came back and said, look, all of this is fine, your proposal is good, but they don't really need to know any history, because this is not connected, they're not going to talk about history. And that's when it hit me that natural history as a subject does not even exist in India, not in our schools, not in colleges. And that felt like a very sad state to be in, considering that India probably has the most diverse habitats any country can boast of in the world. And we all know that with varied habitats comes varied biodiversity. So arguably, we should be the most biodiverse country as well. We may or may not have data to back it up, or records, or work done in that direction. We are a developing country, but I think we deserve a chance, and we need to bring ourselves up to speed on this grounds more, because a career as a nature interpreter does not call for any investment, in terms of financial investment. And this is probably one profession. I'm sure there may be others, but for me, from where I'm coming, this is one profession which cuts across, all the whatever barriers that we may be looking at in terms of socio-economic or geography, or any others that you can think of. I think it kind of equalizes everybody, and we are all living in it. Some of us consider ourselves wildlifers because we have had opportunities to travel out, to go to forests, maybe use our binoculars, use our cameras, And today we are all using either a laptop or a mobile phone. A mobile phone, of course, has become a part of India's fabric. But yeah, laptops, and we kind of take so much for granted in that sense. While I feel that ecotourism, rather than being accessible to the elite, you know, be there for everybody to appreciate. And with nature guides in every village in India, um, we are already seeing actually the work that has gone in the last year and a half. We are already seeing how so many more people from other villages, have taken to it. If nothing, just go for a walk with their friends and family. So, um, where was I? Yes. So coming back, what else do we do? Again, like I said, Uma has already shared all of this. Yes, we conducted the first batch of Nature Guide certification program last year. This year, another one. We just completed the first batch of certified naturalist course. These are through Skill India. Where you see the word certified, it is certified by a certifying body, either the university or Skill India. University, we are yet to begin. Train the trainer, and of course, like I said, we've moved theater from being a hobby zone to a professional career. That wouldn't have been possible unless we had people in the society who appreciated theater. And so while there is so much scope for a career, and we have so many budding nature guides who would be entrepreneurs, we need, I would say, primed, initiated citizens in our society who know what this is all about. And so we have been doing a little work in the space of citizen naturalists, and encouraging people for whom this may not be a profession and might never want it to be a profession, but would be interested enough to take one step forward to learn something about it. And while we say citizen naturalists, and I've been talking about natural history and nature interpretation, just thought this would be important, to understand what is natural history, right? Understanding life forms through observational methods rather than scientific methods. And who is a naturalist? Anybody and everybody who studies natural history as a subject is loosely called a naturalist, right? So, are you a naturalist? Yeah. So, a rhetorical question at this point, but I'm going to come back and ask you this question so you can keep thinking about it, right? The ability to ask questions and appreciation of the difference between seeing things, right, and just looking at them. And some of my English language friends might say it should be the other way, because I have debated both, like really looking at things rather than just seeing them. But whichever way, you get the point. Yeah. These are some, I can send this out on the chat as well before we close. Lovely stories here. A lot of people in our country are working on natural history stories. How many of you have seen this plant? Yeah, we need we need 13 hands raised. Absolutely, yeah. So this is a touch me not plant. And how many of you have touched the touch me not plant? Because that's what it, yeah. So we usually like to do what we are asked not to do. So yes, all of us, all of us have touched this at some point or the other, right? And how many of you had a smile on your face now behind your cameras when I asked you if you've touched it and you remembered the time that you touched it? Yeah. And if you've had a smile on your face, right, then you are a naturalist. Right? Because at some point in time, All it takes is observation, appreciation of what we have out there, and we are all naturalists. In fact, I say this jokingly, but I guess on a serious note as well. Once we know that there is a naturalist inside of us, it actually opens up a lot of opportunities for us to go out and explore, what's around us. How many of you are from Bangalore? Um, Somehow I'm missing the. Okay. Quite a few of us. Okay. So the reason I asked about Bangalore is because I live here currently. And what I can tell you is there are opportunities every weekend to go out in Bangalore and explore nature. And I'm sure other cities have it as well. And some of you who are in Bombay, Delhi, we have friends there who are doing the same. Coimbatore does some amazing stuff. Hyderabad is doing brilliantly well. So, in case you want to know where you can go, what you can do, please write back in. I don't know how. Okay, I can send you one. I can send you an email here, and you can write in, and we'll let you know who you can get in touch with. I think I made a typo there. Yeah, dot school. And yeah, so like the slide says, through interpretation, understanding, through understanding, appreciation, and through appreciation, protection. And so conservation, the way we look at it, while it may be the main output of the work that we have been doing, we would like to look at it as a fringe benefit, because there is so much more around conservation. And sometimes conservation seems to be a conversation again of the elite part section of the society. Because if when some of you may have worked at grassroots level, and when we work with people there, all they are really concerned about, and they should be concerned about, is where their next meal is coming from. So if we do not give them a way to earn their living through talking about the forests or through appreciation of the forests, they will live off it by taking away what is in the forest. And so we believe that the only way that we can conserve anything is if the people living around these wilderness areas decide that they should be conserved. Otherwise, no amount of policies, or I don't know, laws, rules, all of these will definitely help. But and we also need people to be on ground and have a need to conserve what the rest of us believe needs to be conserved. So thank you very, very, very much, all of you, for giving me such a patient hearing. Any questions, and I'm happy to take them.
Tell us some interesting anecdotes that you have come across in your uh, when the various places that you've done this training, and
So,
some interesting stories about some of, like how you told the Kangar Valley story, some stories.
so yeah, so in fact, because I spoke about this conservation right now, one thing that comes to my mind immediately is I was sharing about Kuno. In Kuno, on the the last day, there was this one boy, when we were just taking feedback, and he said, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि जंगल में ये सब भी होता है। मुझे लगा जंगल में सिर्फ लकड़ी होती है और हमें जाना है और अपने आप को बचा के लकड़ी तोड़ के लाना है। जंगल की बातें तो मुझे पहली बार आज पता चला, और मैं तो यहीं पे पला बड़ा हूँ। So sometimes it feels very, I would say ironical, because these are people living inside the forest, and they don't see it the way we see it, right? The grass is always greener on the other side. So from where all of us are sitting, we would like to go into the wilderness. We want to see what's out there. But for people who are already there, it's home for them. And it's really, almost how we today have the West teaching us about yoga and about, uh, you know, patenting what we use every day in the kitchen. Um, Pretty much similar, because they don't know what they really have. And I remember once we got told, हमने तो कुछ बचाया ही नहीं, सब खा लिया. तो टूरिस्ट को कुछ दिखाने के लिए रहा ही नहीं. And that came again after, I think, like 4 days of trying to get them to appreciate what is in the forest. And this came more from a space of saying, we are so sorry, we had no idea that these things matter in the ecosystem. And of course today, tourism is flourishing there, ecotourism is flourishing. And this is one of the boys in Kangir Valley. And we are going back there, and I'm excited to go back and talk to all of them and see what they did in the last 1 year. In fact, while all of them, poaching is a word which is created by us and by the legal system, but really they live off the forest, which means any produce, flora, fauna, is food for them. And while we can grudge people of killing what is there in the forests, we also need to tell them what they can do to make a living if they were to not, you know, um, dip in into the flora fauna. I think we have two hands raised, Shivanand and Suma. Yes, sir. Suma?
Yeah, so one of the question you already answered. I was about to ask, do you know what happened and when did you go there? But you already said that this year you're planning to go there to figure out. So with them becoming aware of whatever you guys have kind of shared, it'll be interesting to see what is the effect of it. Even in a year, the forest can kind of,
You're right.
right?
You're
So
right.
that would be nice to know. Um there was something else that came to my mind. Shivanand, you go. I'll come back to it.
No, I think I raised last time. No, that was by mistake. But anyway, I wanted to know like the weekend, the camps and all you told. No, I want to know more details about that one. I will write to the email ID you sent.
Sure. What I will also do is, we have a form that typically I can share the link here, and you can let us know exactly what you're interested in. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll just paste this.
So you've got certain categories, right? Then to
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. This is a link that you can go to, and you can let us know what specifically interests you, and we will keep you posted.
I think Suma remembered what she wanted to ask.
Right. So, no, I was just, when you were saying that there is poaching happening, and if they are the tribes, they're living off the forest. But isn't poaching different from living off the forest? Because it's not for their consumption, but for something more that you would get, maybe the skin or the tusk or
Sure,
something more,
sure,
right?
sure. We all like branded clothes, right? So
No,
a little more, they need to also.
so we would not call them as poachers, right?
We would, we would, if it is under the,
Mm.
if it is illegal,
If it is illegal.
it
But if
is,
they're the tribals living off the
it
land
is
there,
still illegal. That's
the
why I said
tribals are,
that that's a that's something that we as humans have put down, no? Those rules and the law. So a lot of them get it, um, and don't really know, therefore, what they should do. And some of them just don't get it, because for them, this is what I have been. It's like you go into a village today, like a really tiny village, right? And you're maybe driving a car, and people are walking on that road, and you're like, what the hell is this? Such a small road, and people are walking right in the middle of it. But for them, that's their home, that's their house. They've always walked there. They don't know otherwise,
Right.
So
That they
it's
should
just,
get out when a car comes.
Yeah.
or
So
they should
what?
walk to one side of the road, because now that you know there is development, small vehicles can come in. So I guess it's about understanding, where.
Right. No, I think maybe I didn't say it right. What I was trying to say was, if the tribals are living in the forest and they're living off the land there, they have the right to use
So
certain things as by law, right? They are allowed to, correct? And there again, there might be laws where they are not supposed to hunt certain things. Is that
Yeah,
also right?
absolutely correct, correct.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
but you are saying even with that, there are poachers over there. Is that what you meant to say when you were?
correct. So
Okay.
so this is
Okay.
this is what we have written, right? In we read these books. So for us, there is a lot of right and wrong.
No, I understand that. I was just trying to make sure I understood what you said. That's it.
Huh,
Nothing else.
huh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I think hunting of any kind is illegal, right? You can't hunt any animal in the forest.
That is not true, right? But if
So
you're living off the land there, and if you are in the forest, I am sure they have certain rights.
so
I
they
don't
do.
know the law, but I'm
No,
sure
no,
they'll have certain rights.
they do, but without splitting hair. The point is that, what alternate are we able to offer people when we put certain restrictions on their actions? That's from a,
That's
from a
got it.
broader perspective. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
that's.
absolutely. The other thing which was very interesting, but but just to say, the patenting and what you guys do, I think what patenting is happening there is very mean, and what you guys are doing is very good. So I don't want you to equate those two. You should come up with a better one. That's all.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Suma. Thank you. No, no, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is that, we wait for the West to come in. Yeah, I get. Yeah. So we
We
take
are
it
we are
upon us
doing
to
we are
teach
not,
to
yeah, we're
teach
not
them.
taking it away from them. We're trying to give it back to them.
Absolutely,
In
absolutely.
the other
Yeah,
case, it's
yeah. Also, Suma, we believe that, just like people look up to India, for software professionals. Um, I think everybody should look up to India, or look, yeah, up. I would look up to India when they want nature interpreters of at any level of any kind, because we do have the raw material and the training grounds for it, and we have manpower that understands this so much, and we have people who have access to wilderness. So if we are not, being the nature interpretation capital of the world, we need to quickly get there.
absolutely you.
That's, yeah.
Yes, and we have more than
Yeah,
enough people,
exactly.
and raw, like on ground people there are who are so knowledgeable. Just getting information from them also, and all of you are doing such a wonderful job also.
So
So
we are
absolutely.
currently, really a fantastic, if I may say so myself, a really fantastic team of volunteers, and we are doing what we can do, and we have uh, been very, very. I don't know if lucky is the right word, but maybe we have done some good things and right things. Have had a lot of support, from important stakeholders across the country. But I guess to take it to the next level, we might need some more resources of all kinds. So hopefully we'll get there soon. Thank you.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. See,
I
thanks, Uma. Thanks, Uma, for bringing on board so many more people that we can share the story with. In fact, when you spoke about stories and anecdotes, it reminds me of not so much to do with wildlife, but again to do with the way we are living in cities and how that's impacting what's happening in the forests. Because at one point in time we visited this cave which is deep inside the forest, which was a tourism spot, and we were working with the villagers there for them to become nature guides and take these same tourists, right, through the forest, not just to see the caves but also to listen to the stories of the forest. When we reached the cave, and I remember it was a rainy day, and it was slushy all around, and we were just very happy to go down this beautiful narrow steps down to the cave. And just as we were reaching the last step, um, really aghast to see at least about 150 to 200 plastic water bottles strewn all over the place, and they were also fallen inside the cave. Now, maybe people didn't put it in, but then there is rain, and I mean, it's downhill and it's inside the cave, so everything is gone in the cave. And then when we came back, we spoke to the participants and we said, आप लोग तो ट्रेनिंग रूम के अंदर चप्पल निकाल के आते हो, इतनी आप इतना आप रिस्पेक्ट करते हो, और आपने कैसे अलाउ किया कि टूरिस्ट बाहर से आके इतना इतना यहाँ पे प्लास्टिक फैला रहे हैं. And they really took it really seriously, and they said, we will not let any tourist throw even one bottle in our place from now on. ये हमारा जिम्मा है. And after the program was over, they sent us photographs, and they worked with the forest department. They did a cleanup drive. They cleared all the bottles, and of course we need to go back and see where they are now. And like Suma said, we need to keep doing this. We are doing what wherever we can go back and check, we will do. And yeah, if any of you have any interesting stories or any communities that you work with or you know about, please do share, and we are very, very happy to connect and to work with them.
That was a really
I have one thing to share. Uh,
uh,
I don't know.
just
I keep
one
talking
second.
about this to everybody wherever I can, uh, uh, and I have not understood how to deal with it at all. So there is the issue of the plastic, which if it is over the ground, you can still kind of clean it. But then there is a bigger issue of these glass beer bottles and men. I'm so sorry to I don't understand why they have to break it. How do you reach out to people and say, don't break it even if you drink?
Take it
Yeah,
back with you.
in
So
fact,
we do one module which Suma will very well relate to and probably practices herself, which is that of LNT, leave no trace.
hmm,
Right? And more than working with the naturalists and the nature guides, I think it's imperative that we work with ourselves, with citizens, and I'm sure all of you out there are doing this work in some which way, shape, or form. Will be lovely to join hands. And currently, I think our um, India also has a mission called Mission Life, and Mission Life talks again about sustainable, lifestyle, and good or bad, and whichever side you're on, I think being sustainable is never a bad thing. So it's a good idea to kind of latch on to any bandwagon which is promoting sustainability and do whatever we can do. Yeah, that's I guess the escape velocity will happen when we do more of these. We will
Yeah,
be
but
announcing
do add this point to
it.
whenever you're talking. Like, first, no
Yeah.
leave trace, but tell them not to break the bottle.
So that's for our citizen naturalist course. We will soon be announcing a citizen naturalist course, one of hopefully many more to come. And I think we are the people who need to be told. I mean, the communities are probably, yeah,
Whoever.
there.
To the
Yes.
Girish had
extent
raised it.
I met Upendra, actually a Valley parent, basically. That's how. I even said, why don't you do an ad for this?
Yeah,
You
yes.
know how quickly it can reach. So I
Yes.
mean, he
Did,
just need to do an ad saying don't do.
did you
That's it,
see?
yeah.
Did you
It'll
see
just
that
go.
Shraddha's ad on garbage segregation? Are you Shraddha?
Hmm.
It's
Yes, yes, yes. It
brilliant.
it went viral. It
It
went
is
viral.
brilliant.
Yes,
Yeah. So,
I
Suma,
saw
I
that.
think there is value in that, because after
Yeah.
Gandha the
So
Gudi,
maybe you should,
put her
if you
two
know
people.
Shraddha, you should tell her to do this.
I
I don't know. She
don't.
she comes up with brilliant, you know.
She's
Yeah,
very
Uh,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's an art in itself for coming up uh, with videos which just hits you, which
yeah,
you quickly pick it up, and all kinds of people understand it. And she's like really good.
yeah.
So
We had two people wanting to sign up after Gandha the Gudi because they said we have to protect the wilderness in Karnataka. So these
right.
are,
Girish had put up his hand. Girish, you please ask your question. Sorry. But
Yeah, I was asking like, is there any course like to identify the forest kind of trees and know the benefit medicinal or howsoever? Is there any course or something like that?
so not at the naturalist school as a course specifically for trees because we work around the theme of biodiversity and we would like to encourage. However, there is season watch, and you can look up season watch. There
Shivanand
is a
still
lot
had
of
it.
these.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Uma?
No,
Huh,
no, no. I was telling Shivanand to mute. You go ahead.
huh, huh. So, Season Watch does a lot of work specifically on trees, and you'll be surprised at how user friendly the material is. Um,
How do
yeah,
I
you,
like? There is a YouTube channel or something, or there is a
sure.
web
Let
page?
me website. They have a website. They have a WhatsApp group as well. Let me send you the link here. Um, I will. So all their social media handles are here, and yeah, there.
Yeah, thank you.
Not at all. Okay. If there are no more questions, Uma, I will say a big thank
Oh,
you.
somebody is joining
But
now.
And
So
yeah,
I actually wanted to